Dear listener, you have walked many miles in this life. The body you carry now, marked by time, experience, and sometimes pain, is not a burden. It is your temple. But let us not mistake the aging of the body as the aging of the spirit. The body may be stiff, the breath shorter, and the bones more fragile, but the mind is still capable of curiosity, clarity, and calm if we train it. So I ask you, are you ready to remember the strength that was never lost, only hidden? Teeth. Are you ready to reawaken the clarity that time could not erase? In the next few moments, I will not promise you youth, but I will guide you to something even more powerful. A path to feel young again from the inside. If you feel forgotten, slow, or uncertain, this message is for you. Because within you, there is still a fire, not loud, but steady, not wild, but eternal. And if you stay with me until the final word of this teaching, you may discover that you are never old, only unawakened. Let us begin. What many people fail to understand is this. Growing older is something that happens to the body, not to the essence that lives within. The skin may wrinkle, the hair may gray, and the joints may begin to speak in ways they never did before. But the awareness behind your eyes, the one who is watching all of this unfold, that presence remains unchanged. That presence, that inner witness, does not age. You must remind yourself daily that you are not the body alone. The body is the vehicle. It allows you to move, to touch, to experience this world. But who is it that is aware of this movement? Who is it that feels joy, sorrow, love, confusion? That is your mind, not the scattered mind filled with thoughts, but the deeper mind. The part of you that observes quietly constantly. That part has no age. It is timeless. When people say, I feel old, what they are really saying is that they have started to identify with the limitations of the body. They have accepted the decline of energy as the decline of self. But this is a mistake. You are not your tiredness. You are not your slowness. You are not the numbers written on a medical chart. You are the one watching the tiredness, observing the pain, living with the changes. And if you are still observing, then you are still alive. And if you are alive, then there is still a flame inside you that can be tended. That flame is your will, your purpose, your mental clarity. And you must feed it, not with regret, but with attention. You must remind it, I am still here. I still have something to learn, something to give, something to understand. The world around you may treat you as if your best days are behind you. You will be told to slow down, to rest more, to let go of ambition. But what they do not understand is that the wisdom you carry now is not something they can find in books or on screens. It is carved from experience. And if the body is slower, that only means there is more time to reflect, more space to perceive, more depth in every breath, So do not see your age as something to overcome, see it as a gift. Because your mind is now more prepared than ever to awaken, not distracted by the chaos of youth, but grounded, steady, and ready to reach inward. Do not let the mirror tell you who you are. Instead, become silent and remember. You are not old. You are aware, and awareness never fades. The connection between body and mind is not just poetic. It is practical, it is real, and it is essential. When the body moves, the mind follows. When the body becomes still, the mind reflects that same stillness. And when the body is neglected, the mind becomes clouded. Many people believe that as they grow older, their physical movement should decrease. That slowing down is just a part of life. But stillness and stagnation are not the same thing. A river that becomes still may reflect the sky, but a river that stops flowing becomes stagnant and lifeless. This is why movement must remain a daily practice, not for the sake of fitness, not to chase youth, but to maintain clarity within. The body is like an antenna. When it is aligned, the signal of the mind is strong, but when it is tense, stiff, or disconnected, the message becomes distorted. Movement brings the two back into harmony. You do not need to perform extreme exercises or push yourself to exhaustion. What you need is deliberate, conscious movement. Movement that is tied to your breath, to your awareness, and to your present moment. Even a short walk, when done with intention, becomes a form of meditation. Even stretching your arms with a full breath can realign your energy and bring lightness into your mind. There is a reason why so many traditional disciplines are rooted in the body, because the body is the gateway. Through movement, we feel where we are tense. We notice where we are resisting. We begin to sense the habits we have formed over decades, not just in the body, but in the mind as well. And when we move with awareness, we begin to soften those habits. little by little, breath by breath. Each step you take with intention tells the mind, I am still alive, I am still choosing, I am still here. The muscles may be weaker, but the discipline can be stronger. The breath may be shorter, but the presence can be deeper. You see, the body is not the problem. The problem is when we stop listening to it, when we stop treating it as a living part of our inner life. Do not let your body become a prison. Let it be your temple. Every movement you make can become a ritual, a reminder, a return. Movement grounds you. It teaches you balance on your feet and in your thinking. It reminds you that even now, in this very moment, you are capable of change. You do not move because you are young. You remain young because you continue to move. In the fast pace of modern life, we are constantly told that to be valuable, we must be quick, productive, and always in motion. But this speed becomes a kind of noise, drowning out the quiet truths that only emerge in stillness here. As we grow older, the world may begin to slow down around us, but this slowness is not something to resist. It is an invitation to finally listen to what has always been present, just beneath the surface of distraction. Simplicity is not a lack of things. It is the presence of what truly matters. As the years pass, we begin to see that much of what once felt urgent no longer holds power. The noise of comparison, the chase for recognition, the weight of opinions, they fade. And what remains is the space to breathe, to reflect, and to simply be. But for the mind to remain young, this space must be used with care. Simplify your days. Reduce the unnecessary, not just in what you own, but in what you carry within. Too many thoughts, too many regrets, too many plans, all of them create friction, and friction wears you down. Begin your day not with a screen, but with silence. Before the world asks for your attention, give that attention to yourself. Sit, breathe, listen. You will find that within that silence, your mind becomes clearer than it has been in years. We often associate silence with emptiness, but in truth, silence is full. It is filled with wisdom that cannot be heard when the mind is loud. The mind that is constantly reacting, constantly judging, is like a lake stirred by wind. You cannot see to the bottom. But when you let things settle, when you stop chasing thoughts, the water clears. And in that clarity, you begin to see the roots of your life, your fears, your desires, your truths. Slowness too has been misunderstood. People fear it because they think it means weakness. But slowness, when chosen, is power. It is awareness. When you walk slowly, you notice the earth beneath your feet. When you speak slowly, your words gain weight. When you eat slowly, you taste life. This kind of slowness is not the absence of energy. It is the presence of attention. You have earned this slowness, not because you have less energy, but because now you have the wisdom to use it better. Let go of rushing. Let go of multitasking. Do one thing with full presence. That is enough. That is powerful. That is what keeps the mind young, not constant stimulation, but conscious simplicity. What you are looking for is not ahead of you in the next task or behind you in a memory. It is already here, resting in the silence between thoughts, waiting in the simplicity of the moment, breathing with you in the rhythm of slowness. Only in stillness can the true self be heard. There is a quiet but powerful truth that many forget as they grow older. The mind never stops learning unless you stop feeding it. The belief that learning is for the young is a limitation that society has created, but nature does not support that idea. The brain, like a muscle, adapts and grows when it is used. It does not retire when you retire. It remains ready, waiting for challenge, hungry for understanding, open to transformation, no matter your age. You must begin to see learning not as something tied to school or degrees, but as a way of staying alive. Curiosity is a fire, and if you do not feed that fire, it fades. But if you keep asking questions, if you keep looking beyond the surface, the fire burns brighter. And this fire, this desire to grow, to improve, to explore, is what gives the mind its youth. When you try something new, when you step into unfamiliar territory, your brain lights up. It begins forming new connections. You feel more alert, more alive, more present. But when you repeat the same routines, watch the same things, speak the same words, think the same thoughts, everything becomes automatic. And with time, the automatic becomes dull. So how do you keep the mind young? You begin each day with the mindset of a student, not a student of facts, but a student of life. Learn a language, read a book from a different culture, listen to a child, and let them teach you something. Reflect on your past and ask, what did that moment teach me that I missed the first time? Life is the teacher, and every moment still has something to show you. Learning also humbles the mind. It reminds you that no matter how much you've seen, there is always more. It teaches you to let go of pride and embrace not knowing. And this is a secret many forget. When you admit you don't know, the world opens. When you pretend to know everything, you stop receiving. This humility is not weakness, it is wisdom. And do not forget, what you learn you can share. Your experience gives you depth. But your continued learning gives you light. When the old teach the young, not just with memory but with fresh insight, something beautiful happens. 2 generations grow stronger. One offers roots, the other offers wings. Let your curiosity be your guide. Let your interests change. Let yourself be surprised. Read something difficult. Ask questions that make you uncomfortable. Sit with new ideas long enough to let them shape you. This is not about keeping up with the world. This is about staying awake within yourself. When the body is still but the mind is growing, you are not fading, you are evolving. And evolution is the mark of a life still very much in motion.